Can you believe Martell said he thought his marriage was going to be forever? Martell reminds me of these people who grow up not being disciplined. You know, when you have like yes parents that say yes to everything that you want to do. Oh, daddy, I want this. Mommy, I want to do this. Mommy, this is happening. And they're always riding behind their children, never correcting their children. That is the impression that I get when it comes to Martell. And this is the exact example of what happens when you don't correct your children. The person you love, you correct. Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Today I want to talk a little bit about the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. For those of you who don't watch it, that's fine. I watched it so you don't have to. Am I the only one who doesn't see any chemistry between Trisha and Ken? It's like it just wasn't there. So they had a photo shoot for Trisha's birthday event and I was not seeing any chemistry. Even when I look back at some videos that I made with certain people that I wasn't even dating, maybe we're doing a photo shoot together or a video or even acting, you would think I love these people. But Ken and Trish that are so-called in love and are getting married can't even look like it. They can't even show us any affection, any love. It felt like two people that were forced to be together. It is a photo shoot, for goodness sakes. Why can't you be naturally close to each other? If you love each other, why wouldn't you want to be expressing that? Like, even if you're not lovey-dovey, right? Because I know some couples are not. Even if you're not lovey-dovey, there should still be that natural chemistry, that organic synergy between you guys that people can look and say, oh, they're together. I'll give you an example. Sometimes when I go to the gym, right, I see interactions of different people at the gym and I'm like, ooh, these ones are together. You can tell. It could just be something about like the way they look at each other, or even when they're going together, or even when they're not around each other, but like their eyes are like looking out for each other in the room. Not to talk of having a photo shoot. Imagine the photographer is having to tell them, okay, you guys move like this, move closer, and all of that. That should have just come naturally, but I guess it's not for them. So that is just it for me. I don't really like their relationship. I also think their conversations are so dry. Like there is nothing between them. It feels like watching paint dry. I don't know if it's because they're individually very boring. I don't know what it is, but they're not entertaining to me at all. They had a conversation and they started talking about Marquez again. I'm like, guys, talk about yourselves. Talk about this party. Talk about how excited you are. Talk about what you're trying to achieve in this new year. Why are you bringing up Marquez again? Marquez is no longer going to be on the show. We know this. So why are you bringing him up again? Let's talk about Maurice, Marceau, and Jaylen. So they met up. My initial impression is that Marceau set it up. I got the feeling that he set it up because he was the one that basically introduced the conversation and then was like trying to make it seem that Maurice felt some type of way about Jaylen not really involving him in his investment portfolio and what he's working on. And Maurice, of course, tried to say, yeah, that ain't the case. And then they started talking about the whole potentially working together. So Jaylen talks about how it more and more, the more they talk about it, it seems like a dictatorship. And that Monster was the one that got the favor and the love, but he was treated differently, which is something that we had talked about before. And if you guys remember, I was saying that I feel like Maurice just needs to listen and take accountability for his part and move on. It was interesting because he finally did that here and said he apologizes for the past. This is where he lost me. He also said, and the future. And I'm like, no, don't apologize in advance for the future. Do better. Now that, and this is how you know that the apology is not genuine or he has no intentions of changing or fixing anything. Have you ever heard an apology where someone is like, oh, I apologize for the future? That shows that this person does not want to change. This person has no intentions of doing better. If you have no intentions of doing better, then the apology is for nothing. The best apology is changed behavior. So if he's apologizing in advance for the future, that shows that he has plans to still continue the way he is doing. Now, if he had said, I apologize for everything I've done in the past, moving forward, I will make sure that I am da 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 da. These are some of the ways in which I can like show up for you. Let me know what you think. All of that, right? Ask and receive the feedback. Don't say you're even apologizing for the future. Dude, that means you're planning to misbehave again in the future. I think if you had even said like, oh, okay, if I don't get it right, I hope that, you'd have some grace for me, but bring it up to me and let me know. Instead of talking about you apologizing for the future as well. No, do better in the future. And I feel like Maurice made another mistake yet again. Jaylen told them he accepted a position in Colorado and it starts at the end of the month. Now, I appreciate that he should have told them before. I get it. But you guys don't have that relationship. So, of course, he's just telling you now. Maurice didn't even open his mouth to say congratulations. You see how Marceau looked proud and was saying congratulations? That is exactly why Jaylen sees Marceau more as a father than he sees you. Because there was no affection there. You didn't even look happy for him. Like, that is a problem. Then the guy starts to express like some of his concerns about the new job. He's looking forward to it as a good opportunity, but at the same time, it's a decrease in his pay. So he starts talking about the pay cut, right? Guess what Maurice Luther King said? He's like, oh, it's not a pay cut. It's to get you further in what you want. Dude, it is a pay cut. If somebody gets a reduction in their salary or whatever they were earning before to take a job, it is a pay cut. Call it what it is. If you now want to make them feel better, you can say it is a pay cut, but think about it as you are transitioning and you are moving on to get what it is that you want. It's a foot in the door. What you will get by way of experience will make up for anything over time if you're patient. That is what you can give. That's solid advice. But you saying it's not a pay cut goes back to how he says that you come across. He's always wanting to give feedback, always wanting to correct. There was no need for all of that. You could have said, congratulations, son. I'm so proud of you. This is the first step in the right direction. This is you getting your foot in the door. It may be a pay cut, but this is what you get out of it, right? Or it may be a pay cut, but give it about 6 months. Focus on doing your best in this role. And then moving forward, maybe you can then transition into a role that pays more. You could have validated him. You could have congratulated him very well before you then go on to give the advice and not minimize the fact that it's a pay cut. A pay cut could reduce people's lifestyle. It could reduce what he can afford. These things make a difference. So for you to then trivialize it and say it's not a pay cut because of that, it's like, dude, no, read the room. And this is probably why he sees Marceau more as a father figure, because Marceau validated him. Marceau congratulated him in that moment, and you did not. I'll throw you one bone and say, at least from what we saw. Let's move on to the Martell of it all, and then I'll end this video with the Nell and Trisha and Tisha saga, right? So let's talk about Martell and his mom. He tells his mom that he's trying to move Arion into his investment property. So the mom was basically asking, so do you plan to marry her? And so he's like, yeah, if she's the right person, he'll marry her. This is my thing. Arion, if you're listening to me, that man is not settled about you. That man does not want to marry you. He's acting like you are forcing him to push things forward. If a man is sure about you, he's not going to be out here saying, oh, if she's that person. He will just know and see your value. This man wants you to be on audition for the rest of your life. He wants her to be auditioning for everything. If Arion marries that man, she is going to suffer. This is my opinion. I feel like he's going to make her audition for his affection, for his loyalty, for every single thing. Listen to what he said to his mom. He said if she is that person, he will marry her, right? But he wants to make sure she's the right person, right? And he has to make sure she's doing things right and treating him right and all that kind of stuff. That is the impression I get of somebody who wants you to be auditioning for their affection, for that relationship. And you will continue to do that for the rest of your life if you marry that man. Because the thing is, he is not talking about how he can be a better partner to you. He's not talking about how when we're together, things work, we get on so well, that we love each other. He is basically saying what determines whether or not he marries you is based on you. That is the impression that he's given, right? It's not about love. It's not about him thinking you are this amazing person. It's about your actions. So if he perceives that, oh, okay, she's not going to do all of the things that I want, then why should I marry her? That is the vibe that it's given. It's given he's put you on probation. You know how they put you on probation at work and they're like, oh, you're going to be on 6 months probation. This one, honey, there is no end in sight. You are going to be on probation even if you marry this man. And whoever is listening, I need you to listen to the words that men speak. This is the thing. Sometimes women won't hear what they want to hear, but if you listen well, you will hear exactly how he feels and where he places you in his life. He literally outrightly said that she's on probation without saying those words. What he was saying shows that he is not settled on marrying her, but that whatever she does, if she continues to pull her weight or whatever, then he will reward her by marrying her. And if she doesn't, then he will not marry her. And for me, the way he kept highlighting, oh yeah, mom, I know you gave me some slack in the beginning about how Arion and our relationship and all that kind of stuff. But you know, mama, I thank you. You know, you guys get on and all that kind of stuff. So he's really trying to push her out to us, the audience, but also trying to let the audience know that his mama approves of Arion. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, because that was what I was picking up on. Because he kept talking about how, yes, mom, you know, when you guys have met each other, you know, you guys have always gotten on. It's giving the impression, ooh, Arion is this wonderful person. Even my mama likes her. So, of course, bringing her on the show. She's this wonderful person. Why not? Let's bring her on the show. Now, what gagged me was when this man looked in our faces and said to us that when he got married, he thought it was going to be forever. Then he looks like he was going to cry. I'm like, dude, the only reason it wasn't forever was because of you. Are you slow? Like, I just don't understand. So why are you now acting like you want to cry and you thought it was going to be forever? Your actions made it in such a way that it was not forever. So you have nobody to blame but yourself. That's just what it is. So it's like the trying to rewrite history, trying to make it seem like, oh, we should feel sorry for you because, oh, you lost a good thing. Of course you lost a good thing. You're not going to recover until you truly repent and change your behavior, change the core of who you are. I definitely pick up that his mom enables him. He comes across as somebody that was not disciplined as a child, because even the way he was talking to his mom, and his mom kept saying yes to everything, including the way he behaved with the whole Maurice and Marceau situation. Even if there's no way I'll sit in front of my mom and say that I went to the extent of doing those videos and saying all of that, and my mom won't say like, okay, sis, like, okay, girl, I need you to calm down. Like, whatever the case may be, if they don't want to be transparent, they don't want to be this, that is fine. But there is no need for you to go that low. The fact that she didn't even say none of that, and she was like, well, yeah, they started with you, and she was just saying yes to everything he was saying. I was like, ooh, no wonder Martell turned out the way Martell turned out. I think we see why. Now, let's talk about the whole Nell and the girlies situation. So Nell, of course, feels some type of way because she felt like Letitia was standoff about her asking about the whole interview that Martell did, right? I get where Nell is coming from, because it's like everyone is always talking about being transparent in the group, but nobody is transparent, right? So I get what she's talking about. She did say she feels like it's very hypocritical. She's fed up of like them not wanting to talk, but they want to talk about her business. And this is the thing. That is exactly what these people have been doing since season 1. They've always wanted to talk about Mel's business, Mel and Martell's business, and not talk about their business at all. So I'm not surprised that that is what is happening here. I just wish that Trish had a bit of a backbone where she also expressed that she was feeling this way and was strong about it, because it kind of felt like Nell was the only one talking to the Scots. And I say the Scots because it was clear that they were tag teaming Nell on the situation, right? So Nell, of course, brought it up at Trisha's birthday party that she feels like they're not transparent. And the way Tisha flipped it over so quickly, she's like, just because you don't like what I have to say doesn't mean I'm not transparent. That statement I agree with, right? Sometimes people feel like just because you're not sharing, or just because they don't like what you share, you're not being transparent. But to you, that could have been you sharing everything, right? But I think everybody can see that Tisha is not transparent. So I do agree with Nell that Tisha using that statement or calling herself transparent is hypocritical. It's not the truth. It's not the reality. However, it's easier for Tisha to live in Delulu land because nothing has been exposed publicly. Nothing, there's no proof that has come out to show that this man is stepping out. So Maso allows her the privilege of living in her delusion because nobody is coming to her with proof, right? So that's just the reality of the situation. Doesn't mean that he's faithful, but at least there hasn't been any concrete proof to show that he has stepped out. So she can continue to bury her head in the sand. My thing though is, I'm tired. We are tired. The viewers are tired. We've heard this storyline so many times. We don't want to hear it anymore. If Tisha is okay with Maso, too many M names, with Maso stepping out on her, allegedly, or whatever he's doing, then that is okay. That's her business. They can ride off into the sunset together. That is it. That is all. She clearly wants to continue to be married. She values staying married. And that is okay. People have different goals in life. Some people want to be married forever, and that's a goal for them, regardless of what the situation is. Being married is more important than what they are dealing with. And that's somebody like Tisha. And that is her view. That is her goal. That is on her. My advice to Nell would be, girl, if you don't want to talk about your business, don't let anybody force you to talk about your business. If they bring it up, you say, I don't want to talk to you about my business because you don't talk to me about your business. Simple. That should be the end of it. There is no need to be out here having a conversation about, I'm transparent. No, you're not transparent. No, you're not. Girl, please, how old are we? If you don't want to be transparent, you don't have to be transparent. I'm not going to be transparent with you. I am choosing to share with people who also want to share with me. That is it. That is all. I will say that scene just reminded me of how Nell is going to be alone this season, because the Scots are definitely doing gang. Trisha does not have enough of a mouthpiece to speak on behalf of anybody or to even be on the side of truth. And we know Destiny ain't seeing it for Nell right now, so Destiny is going to tag team her. And Destiny and Tisha have an alliance. So we all know that it's going to be Nell versus everybody. And so, but it is what it is. One last thing I want to talk about really quickly is when the ladies went over to the men, right, to talk. And they brought up this whole NDA situation, right? And Tisha was getting really hyped with hands. And I'm like, girl, put your hands down. Like, why are you putting hands in another woman's face and also trying to talk to her husband disrespectfully? And I love how Nell shut it down. Like, at the end of the day, she's the only one that can check her husband. The same way ain't nobody trying to check your husband. So chill, take a deep breath and chill. And I don't know if it's like her being intoxicated or getting some liquid courage or wanting to gather the girls. I don't know what it is, but I think that's probably what it is. She probably wants to be the star of the show. Because I was also confused how we're talking about transparency. Next thing, Kimmy is talking about F this, F that. I'm like, girl, chill. What is going on? Is something going on with you personally that you don't want to address? I get the impression that a lot is happening with Kimmy's marriage, and she actually genuinely seems fed up. Even in the confessionals, the way she talks about it, it's obvious that she is not happy in that marriage. But that's the thing. That's what happens when you force something that isn't to be it. It's like forcing a triangle into a square or to be a square, right? It's not a square. No matter how you force it, it is not a square. Or triangle and a circle. It's like, what are you doing? And I think that Kimmy is now on the receiving end and now receiving the backlash or the effects of trying to force a relationship with Maurice. I think that is where she is at now. It's very sad to watch, and it's a lesson. If you don't feel like it's a good fit, then don't go into it, because marriage is a serious commitment. On that note, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.